I'm Generation Gamer, and this is my review of The Crew. Does it have the torque to keep up with such titles as Need for Speed and Forza, or does it just burn out its clutch? Join me. Alright guys, here's the review. Let's start with the story. Is there one? Yep. And that's really all you can say about that. If you've seen Need for Speed with Aaron Paul, it's basically the exact same plot. So, spoiler, it goes like this. There's a guy you're close to, he dies, they blame you. You go to prison, you get out, you get revenge. That's as far as that goes. As for the missions, the story related race missions, are they varied? Not really. There's a few different ones. There's regular races. There's a single drag race as far as I could tell and or remember. There's a couple of, I wouldn't say Hitman style jobs because nobody actually dies, but I guess you could call them a takedown mission, where you go, you race, you hit a car X amount of times, and then all of a sudden they're dead. Yeah, that's basically it for story. It's pretty mediocre, and I mean, it's delivered by a couple of good actors, Troy Baker being one of them, but it doesn't really do a racing game any justice. It's just a racing game. Is there multiplayer? Yes, there's multiplayer. There's PvP, which is racing against other people, and there's co-op. I think I only used co-op probably about 4 times since owning this game. It was useful none of those times. It's fun to have, yeah, but as long as your car level meets the car level requirement of those missions, you should be fine. There's not really any problems with that. With that being said, if your car level doesn't meet car level requirement, then it's kind of difficult. I don't know why cars have a level in this, because your horsepower and your torque and your weight should be the factor of what determines whether or not your car wins, not a car's ego or your ego in that kind of car. I'm not sure what that means, car level, but whatever, it is what it is. The PvP portion of multiplayer is your typical racing game. You are going to have people sticking their front bumper all the way up your exhaust, and they're going to push you, and they're going to spin you out, and they're going to try all the little dirty tricks they can to make sure that they win. PvP is not worth it in this game. There are no special rewards for it. There's no special unlocks for cars. There's not even a good payout at the end of it. So other than that, that's all I can really say about story and multiplayer. That's how generic they are. That's it. So gameplay wise, is it any good? Does it feel good? Does it perform good? Yes. There's enough gameplay here to keep you busy for a while. As you saw in the first portion of the video, there's challenges. Those challenges consist of escaping an area, escaping the police, figuring out your driving line. There's stunt jump ones. There's slalom courses. There's precision skills such as this one here. that require you to drive through a very small gate in an X amount of time. The faster you are through these gates, the better the points are, the better chance you have of getting a better part. Obviously I'm doing it in a raid spec vehicle, so I'm probably not even going to make silver. I might get lucky here. No, I don't think I'm going to get silver. Oh, I did get silver, look at that. So, other than these little challenges, what else is there to do? Well, there's faction missions. Faction missions vary. You can do the really easy faction missions that are 10 minutes long, but they pay out not so much. Or you can go all in and do a 2-hour or 1-hour faction mission. And this isn't like 2 hours in-game 2 hours. This is 2 hours real time. These faction missions will have you pulling your hair out. You will spend 2 hours racing and defending your first position. If you don't, and you crash, that is it. You have to restart over at the very beginning and do a whole 2 hours over again. So it really tests your patience and your skill. You can pause during it as long as you do solo one, but it definitely will test your skill. A couple things I'd like to mention about the game itself is customization. It's been too long since a racing game had good customization options. The last one for me was Midnight Club, LA. It was good because you could actually kind of roleplay with that game. And by that I mean, if you own a specific vehicle, you could probably get it in that game and drive it. The only things that would allow you to roleplay were Need for Speed Underground and Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original, not that 2012 or 2013 piece of crap that they released. The reason why people love those games so much and continue to love those games is because you can own a car that you own in reality and stick parts on it, aftermarket parts and performance parts, and you could feel like, hey, I own this car in reality. I would love to actually see what it looked like in game if I could do it like the way I would want to do it in reality. So it adds that depth, it adds that roleplay aspect to it. Whereas racing games nowadays, like the new Need for Speed titles such as Rivals and Forza, as far as I know, and Gran Turismo, they're either too arcadey or they're too simulated based. I don't know what the Forza customization is like because I don't have that game. It looks like it's a lot better than Need for Speed, that's for sure, because Need for Speed is a dying title. They should just cut that like Call of Duty. But they won't. Same thing with Assassin's Creed. They really should knock that shit off too, but they won't. But does this game have good customization? It has a fair amount to keep you interested after you've beat the game, but it's not gonna keep you forever because you're not customizing a car that you feel invested in. You're not customizing a car that you feel like you could own in reality. So there's no real roleplay aspect to this game whatsoever, as much as I kind of wish there was. With that being said, you can still customize lower level cars such as the Camaro and the Mustangs and all those and make them look how you want them, and it's good, it's nice, it's got lots of variety as far as bumpers and colors, vinyls. However, they kind of ruined the game, and the way they did that is once you reach level 50, which is the max level currently, you have access to any vehicle you want. Not for free, but you could either spend the time grinding out the faction missions, the 2-hour ones that pay $80,000 each time you play them, and you can play them as many times as you want in a session, grinding those missions out and purchasing the cars with money you've earned, or you can go spend $40, buy crew credits, and then all of a sudden have access to the top cars at the end of the game because you paid to win. That's ridiculous. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Why did it spawn me over here? I don't know. Anyways, back to the gameplay. The cars are varied. They're responsive. Each one handles differently. It feels good. It's a bit buggy, and it has the same arcadey feel that Midnight Club had, where you could slam into civilian vehicles and kind of just push them out of the way. But it's good. It feels good. It feels balanced enough. Not to mention you're driving halfway across, the United States of America. It's not 1-to-1 scale, but it'll do. It'll take you a long time to get from one to another. Speed in first person feels great. In third person, it looks a lot slower. But that's according to me. The handling, like I said, it varies. If you get a supercar, let's just slow down here. I get out my supercar. There we go, my perf version, performance version. They feel fast. They look fast. So there is a lot of content here. It's just, are you willing to grind to do what it takes to purchase these vehicles? Some people are, some people aren't. There's that arcadiness I'm talking about. I just was doing like, what, 110, slammed into a car, didn't do anything. It's unfortunate.